Merry Christmas, everyone, from Dunrovin Ranch in Lolo, Montana. It's not a white Christmas, and we're kind of bummed out about this. I'll have to tell you, it's been a long time since Montana hasn't had a nice, fluffy, white Christmas, but we're going to give it our best anyway. It has been a tradition for Dunrovin a number of times to decorate our horses in celebration of the holidays. You know, spruce them up, and then hopefully we're going to have a photographer come out and take some of our photos. So the idea here is to just, you know, give them a moment, have some fun with the horses, and celebrate the holidays by dressing them up a bit. So with me today, I have Ashley. Ashley, everyone knows Ashley. And I have our good friend Paula. You will be seeing more of Paula later, by the way. She has a bit of a surprise, and you can always count on Paula for a surprise, for a very fun surprise. And then, of course, we have Ryan, and I don't think we should let Ryan get away without introducing her dog, her new puppy. Yeah.
Right now?
Well, I think you should go and get him, and I think we should put a bow on him and welcome him to Dunrovin. I know everyone's going to want to meet your puppy, and you haven't yet had a name, do you?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm campaigning for.
What's that?
Hudson. Yeah.
Hudson. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. You mentioned a name, and that one stuck in my hood. Yeah. So
he's pretty beefy, so Hudson kind of works.
It does.
Yeah.
I like
it does. It's a very dignified name. Hudson. Yeah. Yeah. It's a really, don't you think it's a substantial name?
It is.
Yeah.
He's going to be a big boy.
This is our latest Wrangler helper out here. Her name is Chelsea, and I can never pronounce your last name. Is it Kopek?
Oh, I accept all pronunciations, but it's Clocky.
Copy. Clocky.
Like clock, but with
an E. Clocky. Yeah. And she lives right next door. It's really fun. It's a great way for us to get to know our neighbors. I have run into your mother a couple of times. She's got these wonderful, great little dogs, and I'm always happy to find somebody who will put up with little dogs because
she does more than put up with them.
Yeah, she really likes them, doesn't she?
Loves them.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, and she just moved your mother in too, did she not? Your grandmother. Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. So I think that Chelsea's going to work with me on these two blonde horses, Lonza and Augie. And hopefully Jess will come eventually and work with Rocket. And we're going to try to partner Ryan with Dugan. Yeah, sweet guy. You're going to like Dugan, and we'll get you riding him eventually. He's a really sweet fellow. And I think, of course, Paula's main guy is Garnet. She's gotten a good relationship going with Garnet. And I assume you're going to take a hold of Mystery.
Well, I was going to decorate Rocket.
You're going to take Rocket.
Jess was coming, but Mystery was just acting like a crazy guy, so.
Oh, didn't want to be separated from Canner.
No.
Too much eggnog.
Too much eggnog. Yeah. They're rolling out there in the field just being crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to let them be.
Yeah. Okay.
Eggnog.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. So at any rate, join us in celebrating the holidays. We'll just kind of keep you informed as we go along here. And thanks to Ashley for having decorated the area, some nice wreaths, etc. And we're just going to have some fun and hopefully get some photos taken with them. If not, maybe we can, if Jess doesn't come, maybe we can go and take our horse close to the web camera.
And just pose.
And then James, you can take snapshots of us. So our photographer is going to be James, and all of you can see our photos when we're done. How does that sound? Okay?
Yeah.
So first,
what are you going to do?
I'm doing Lonza. Lonza. Yeah.
Right.
My lovely Lonza. Yeah. I haven't been with her for a while. Yeah. She's a great horse. Yeah. Mother and son.
Yeah.
But I think, look at this. Ryan has neglected her going to her place and getting her puppy. I think
we decorate, and I'll bring up
okay.
this time.
All right. All right. We got to meet the little guy. He's cute as a pistol. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take Lonza and take her around and face her so that people can see what I'm doing. Let me do that. Let me reposition these horses around so that we can watch their faces. I generally decorate their head as
I'll
opposed to
explain
their
what I'm
whole
doing.
body.
So we have these little metal curries that get all the mud and the loose stuff off the top.
All right.
And then we're going to go in with a soft brush after and just brush them out.
Is there anything you do different when you're grooming while they're wet?
No, there's really nothing different for it. There's nothing for it. Come on, old gal. Let's just be careful where we walk. Come on. I'm just going to take you around. Come on.
Oh, Augie, simmer down.
There you go.
Augie has been completely fine until we bring her over, and then she's like, "Oh my God, my mom! My mom is back!"
Back.
Turned back into a defenseless 3-year-old.
Back.
Mommy.
There we go. Okay, now, Chelsea, have you ever groomed a horse before? Pardon?
Not since I was a kid.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's good. Just, the idea is to be kind of gentle with him. This is Augie. You know him. And he's a sweetheart. He'll be fine. Let's see if we can get this out from around you. All right. So, where did I put my... Okay, Lonza, let's just move out of the way here a little bit. Move a little bit over this way. There you go, gal.
What do you mean, clean? Yeah, Duke is probably...
This is a mess.
He's been rolling and everything. I don't know, I feel like as much as it makes you
I'm not going
happy.
to try to get their whole body. I'm just going to go for their
I feel like I don't
face.
see Rocket rolling around that much. Yeah, probably harder for him to get up and down.
Yeah. She's my
So-
good girl, aren't you? Yeah.
The Rocket's red. I kind of want to go with red. Maybe like red and silver.
I'm gonna go with the garland, that garland,
Yeah,
and then that red sparkly.
that'd be cute. I kind of like the candy canes. I also want to braid his mane. It shouldn't take me that long to put like
Do you have a decorating
Straighten it.
plan, Suzanne?
Red.
red.
Yeah, red is my plan. In fact, I'm going to try to find a red halter here and change her out, or a black one.
There's
Red or black will do fine.
It might have been.
I think she's got a black one in here.
Dora's wearing a red one. We can trade.
She's got a big head.
Oh, well. 'Cause my theme is blue.
Okay, you're going to go with blue? Blue and gold. Okay. Let me see if I can find her own halter. There it is.
It's an interesting way to eat your hay bag, Rocket. Whoever poops, you have to clean it up. No, not for Garnet or Augie or Maybe. Of course, he's just fat. They did only get half of their breakfast. This is the other half of their meal.
So I'm in the bowels here of the tack room, finding
Which now that I'm
Lady
seeing the
Mozie's
big old belly on Rocket, I'm surprised Garnet
halter.
really doesn't look that big.
which is the right color. It's a darker color, so I'm going to trade it out on her.
Almost there. Almost there. You got a big neck and a lot of hair.
Come on, Rosa.
Let's see. That might be long enough. Going in. We'll start with the most complicated thing first. You're okay, dude. Come up for a breath. Let me just get this tied on, and then you can go back to your hay.
All right. Just go over here. There you go, good girl. There you go. You gotta have your right halter here, honey. Yeah. You gotta have black. You gotta match, honey. Huh. Yeah, you gotta match. There you go. Okay. So, Ashley,
Yes.
do we have Santa gifts for the littles?
We do.
We
need to
do.
wrap them still, but we do have gifts
Oh,
for them.
wonderful. Did you have fun doing that? This is going to be interesting to see what they do with it.
If it's the other thing we've talked about, I haven't done that yet, but we have
What's
boxes-
that?
We have gifts that go in the arena.
We'll have to keep them in the arena. Yeah.
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 have those ready to go. So I've got carrots in the tack room.
Oh, good.
And we cut up the boxes.
Oh, good. That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
That's okay. I don't know. Okay, yeah. We're done with that for right now.
Okay, Lonzo, we need some red. We need some red. He's got her black on. Black and red. See, we got a match. Red. Okay.
Now, there's something, you can have, there's this too.
Oh. Okay.
The candy canes.
That's
Whoa,
about
hey.
it I have.
Hey,
Okay.
stop.
So this is kind of a twine, huh?
It's like a ribbon,
Uh-huh.
a mesh,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
Chill for like 5 seconds.
And then I don't know what else is.
thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice and wide. Maybe I'll take something thinner. Okay, I'm going to try to make her halter covered in red here. I don't know if she's going to cooperate with me, but we'll see. Come on, little gal. Let's get it going up here. Yeah, we need some festive red on you here, honey. Yeah, some festive red. Okay.
This is like Olympic level braiding.
Great.
It does. That's so cute. Oh, what?
Right.
I was talking about your garland.
Braid my hair like that.
Okay.
Okay, then do jumping jacks while I braid your hair.
I'm making a mess. You know what I think we need to do here is take the hay bags away while we decorate, and then put them back while they're standing around waiting, because they're totally distracted for decorating with the hay here. Utterly, totally distracted, aren't you, dear? Yeah. So I'm going to get rid of your hay bag. You keep moving.
Am I muted?
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah.
No.
Now I got a mess here. Huh. Yeah, I do. I have a mess. I'm gonna.
Oh, he's so cute.
I've created a mess. I have indeed. That's okay, I'll cut it. Yeah. Okay, dear. Okay. Hay is going away. You tool. Yeah, you can't. They won't keep their head up. Do you know how to do that? And then we'll bring it back to you when you're all decorated. Come on, let me just take it on over here. So once they're decorated, they'll be all right. Okay. All right. I want your head up here. Come on. Head up. Head up. I'm going to tie you shorter so you can't put your head way down. Come on. Up, 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 up. You've had enough.
No, I couldn't find any. I have zip ties right here on this table.
Okay, you've had enough. Yeah, you've had enough. There you go. Now we can decorate you. Yeah.
Miss Lady, simmer down.
All right.
About as good as it's gonna get.
I think it looks good.
Thanks.
It's like he's at Coachella.
Oh my God.
Of course.
Come here.
Where's Kella?
Good girl. Good girl. Nice big ball.
Action shot.
Wrap him on his legs. Like a big old bow.
Pop your head under Augie, Kelsey. Oh, yeah, good move. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I like his little ornaments and his braids. How cute. I'm trying to figure out. I know I want to get something over his back to, well, with my mask and everything. I like his braid.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Let's see. I think I can do it with candy. It kind of looks like a tourniquet. Right?
No, not for you.
Like I said, Augie would be the one to destroy everything.
Let's get you. You don't need to be in my pockets.
That's perfect.
I got something in my pocket that he's interested in.
I like to go and find her.
Right.
Oh, Augie. All right, let's go on the other side. What a good girl you are. What a good girl.
You know how to get him back up? Yeah, come on, big baby.
We need some more, don't we? There's another piece.
Okay, I'm coming to the rescue. We save you from the... You're okay, you're okay, you're okay. We saved you again from the plastic monster.
What a good girl.
Maybe some one-time use tinsel.
He's gonna eat my hat. Hey, Augie, are you gonna eat my hat? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. Let me see how you're doing over here. Are you going to have his goggles on or off?
Off for the picture.
Off for the picture. Oh, look at that. That's very pretty. Oh, you've given me ideas. That's great. I like that.
This is an update to our social media.
It used to be a garbage can. Oh, here it is.
Good boy. Augie, no. Who is blowing up my phone right now? My goodness.
Oh, I like this idea of putting color in the mane. I do like that. I do. Let me see if I can get another bow here for you, Alonza. Yeah. Crafts are not my strong suit, as my children would be happy to tell everybody. Oh, look at that tail. That's fabulous.
Thank you. Let's see what else do we got?
You're so beautiful. I can't mess you up badly enough, can I? You're just too beautiful. But let's get some
There's some little ornaments you can
pieces
put in his
of red
hair.
in your hair. Yeah, pieces of red in your hair. And I've got these little pieces, these strands that I had to cut. They're perfect.
Are either of you guys using this hat? He's not planning on it. How would you maybe attach it? So that you're holding it?
You could put it on his halter. You could, you'd have to put holes in it, I think, to make it stand up. He's very tolerant. Yeah, I think this is going to be problematic for you without putting a hole in it.
That's okay then.
Yeah, I think it might be more trouble than it's worth.
Jingle, jingle.
Okay, Lonzo, let's see if we can put some red streamers in your mane. That will be fun.
Doggy, that's rude.
Hey, stop it. Stop it. Nice loose gravel there.
Rocket, no. Hey, get back over here.
If you're not careful, you're going to end up being decorated, Cola.
There we go. Cute. Oh my goodness. I love it.
right, I think this bowl is not very good. I have to make one up on the table and then affix it to you, dear. This is not looking good. I need to just make a nice big one and put it on you.
What's the end of it?
That's what I have to do.
Yep.
That'll work. Okay. Is the sun coming out? Do I dare say a word?
Don't jinx it. Oh, look at Garnet. What a cutie. Very winter solstice.
Well, I figured, there wouldn't be enough for everyone to do red and green.
Yeah. If I did mystery, I would have done like blue and silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get the I took the paper off and I stuck it on and then stuck the paper back to I'm just cutting it up. I put on it.
Although I feel like little burgers.
Well, that's going to be pretty, Suzanne.
I don't know. I'm not all that great at decorating. This is not my strong suit, you know?
I know, I've been trying to be cautious. I'm just trying to tie it as fast as I can.
We're afraid of this, so we're not doing this.
Well, I think I'm done. I can't have any other ideas. Whoa, look at this storyboard.
Is this like from the you love these books kind of light, but then you have to look at I know, I said something funny. So it is new.
What's that?
It is new. It's new.
It's new.
Yeah.
So what? Oh, that's the time for your... Oh, my, he's looking really good.
So I'm just going to put this last one on, and maybe I can just start. You know, I can start.
Yeah, that's a good idea. He looks terrific. Look at you go. Yeah, I missed out on the artistic talents, you know. I stood in the wrong
My
line.
sister didn't get that gene either.
Oh, no. I mean, it's terrible, you know. And the worst part is I have an appreciation for it. You know, it's one thing to have no talent and not care. But that's not me. I do care. Yes.
I'm going to just do this last bit here, and then I might sort of get started.
Go ahead. That's a great idea. Although I want to watch. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to put one more bow on her, and then I'm going to come over to get my picture taken. This is as good as it gets for Suzanne. You drew the short stick, Lonza. Okay, James, I'm going to come and have my picture taken. This is as good as it gets for the poor lady Lonza. Yeah, this is not my strong suit by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, she looks beautiful no matter what I do to her. That's why I choose her, because you can't go wrong. All right, come on, old girl. Come on, you and I are both getting old around here. Come on. She's got to be my second oldest horse. What do you think? Monty and then Lonza?
I think so.
I think Lonza's, she must be about 18, hey? 18 going on 19. In June. You'll be 19, my dear. In June. Come on, don't go. I'll get you your hay again in a minute. First we have to have our picture taken. Come on. Come on, over here. There you go. We're going to go over here. Come on. All right, James. I'm going to want my picture taken with my beauty here. So, I assume we're in a good place. If not, come out of the office and tell me to back up or go forward or something like that. Okay? This is my lovely lady Lonza. I'm going to assume you've got some shots here. She's pretty no matter what I do to her, aren't you? Yeah, you're my girl, aren't you? Yeah, we've known each other the whole time, haven't we? Ever since you were born here, huh? You're such a beauty. What are you looking at over there? At least you got your ears up nice and beautiful. Yeah, there, she's looking right at the camera. All right, I'm going to assume you've got some good photos there, James, of my lovely lady Lanza and me. Happy New Year's and Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm so enjoying having you with us this year of social isolation. It's really fun to connect in this wonderful way. So thank you for coming. Greatly appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to tie her up until the next phase of all this, and I will give her her hay bag back. All right, old girl, come on. You can have your hay bag back.
So should I parade him? Or should I just...
Everybody should come over one at a time and get their photo taken with their horse. This is something that James can do with the camera right there. And then I'm going to put her hay bag back. So go ahead.
Well, hello, everybody. Happy holidays. My name's Paula. I'm here at beautiful Lolo, Montana in Dunrovin Ranch. And I have a story to read. This is something that I picked up, I think it has to be easily 15 years ago, at some Christmas Eve party that a friend usually would have. And I made a copy and I've carried it with me, and I read it every once in a while. Rarely to this many people, but this isn't really my comfort zone, but that's okay. I'm going to go for it anyway. And this was a story, it's a Christmas story, and it's called Stubby Pringle's Christmas. Some of you may have heard of it. It was written by Jack Schaefer. And he actually, I looked it up, he's actually written a lot of other books. This is, I think, the only children's story. It's considered a children's story that he's written, and it was put out in 1964. So, here we go. Of course, I'll put my glasses. Stubby Pringle's Christmas by Jack Schaefer. High on the mountainside by the little line cabin in the crisp, clean dusk of evening, Stubby Pringle swings into saddle. He has shape of bear in the dimness, bundled thick against cold. Double socks crowd scarred boots. Leather chaps with hair out cover patched corduroy pants. Fleece-lined jacket with wear of winter on it bulges body, and heavy gloves blunt fingers. Two gay red bandanas folded together, fatten throat under chin. Battered hat is pulled down to sit on ears, and inside pocket of jacket are rabbit skin earmuffs he can put to use if he needs them. Stubby Pringle swings up into saddle. He looks out and down over worlds of snow and ice and tree and rock. He spreads arms wide, and they embrace whole ranges of hills. He stretches tall, and hat brushes stars and sky. He is Stubby Pringle, cowhand of the Triple X, and this is his night to howl. He is Stubby Pringle, son of the wild jackass, and he is heading for the Christmas dance at the schoolhouse in the valley. Stubby Pringle swings up, and his horse stands like rock. This is the pride of his string, flop-eared, ewe-necked, cat-hipped strawberry roan that looks like it should have died weeks ago, but has iron rods for bones and nitroglycerin for blood, and can go from here to doomsday with nothing more than mouthfuls of snow for water and tufts of winter-cured bunch grass snatched between drifts for food. It stands like rock. It knows the folly of trying to unseat Stubby. It wastes no energy in futile explosions. It knows that 27 miles of hard winter going are foreordained for this evening, and 27 more of harder uphill return by morning. It has done this before. It is saving the dynamite under its hide for the destiny of a true cow pony, which is to take its rider where he wants to go and bring him back again. Stubby Pringle sits in his saddle and grins into the cold and distance and future full of festivity. Join me in a look at what can be seen of him, despite the bundling and frosty breath vapor that soon will hang icicles on his nose. Those are careless, haphazard, scrambled features under the low hat brim, about as handsome as a blue boar's snout. Not much fuzz yet on his chin. Why shucks, is he just a boy? Don't make that mistake, though his 20th birthday is still 6 weeks away. Don't make the mistake Hutch Hanley made last summer, when he thought this was young, unseasoned stuff, and took to ragging Stubby and wound up with ears pinned back and upper lip split and nose mashed flat, and a whole of him dumped in a rain barrel. Stubby has been taking care of himself since he was orphaned at 13. Stubby has been doing man's work since he was 15. Do you think Hard Rock Harper of the Triple X would have anything but an all-around, hard-proved hand up here at his farthest winter cabin, siding old Jake Handlin, toughest hard-bitten old cowboy ever to ride the range? Stubby Pringle slips gloved hand under rump to wipe frost off the saddle. No sense letting it melt into patches of corduroy pants. He slaps right hand saddle bag. It contains a burlap bag wrapped around a 2-pound box of candy, fancy chocolates with variegated interiors he acquired 2 months ago and has kept hidden from old Jake. He slaps left saddlebag. It holds a burlap bag wrapped around a paper parcel that contains a close-folded piece of dress goods and a roll of pink ribbon. Interesting items, yes. They are ammunition for the campaign he has in mind to soften the affections of whichever female of the right vintage among those at the schoolhouse appeals to him most and seems most susceptible. Stubby Pringle settles himself firmly in the saddle. He is just another of far-scattered, poorly paid, patch-clothed cowhands that inhabit these parts, and likely marks and smells of his calling have not been scrubbed away. He knows that, but this is his night to howl. He is Stubby Pringle, true begotten son of the wildest jackass, and he has been riding line through hell and high water and winter storms for 2 months without a break. And he has done his share of the work, and more than his share, because old Jake is getting along and slowing some, and this is his night to stomp floorboards till schoolhouse shakes, and kick heels up to the lanterns above, and whirl a willing female till she is dizzy enough to see past the patched clothes to the man inside them. He wriggles toes deep into stirrups and settles himself firmly in the saddle. "I could have et them chocolates," said old Jake from the cabin. "They wasn't hid good, not good at all." "And be beat like a drum," says Stubby, "and wrung out like a dirty dish rag." "By who?" says old Jake. "By a young'un like you? Why, I'd have tied you in knots after you knew what if and what you tried to... What? After you knew what's what if and you tried it. You're a dang-blatted young fool," he says. "A ding-busted dang-blatted fool. Riding out on a night like this, if and it is Christmas Eve. A dang-blatted, ding-busted, dang-blatted fool. But if and I was your age again, I reckon I'd be doing it too." He cackles like an old rooster. "Squeeze one of them for me," he says, and steps back inside and closes the door. Stubby Pringle's alone out there in the darkening dusk, alone with flop-eared, ewe-necked, cat-hipped roan that can go to the last trumpet call under him, and with a cold of wicked winter wind around him, and with 27 miles of snow-dumped distance ahead of him. "Wahoo!" he yells. "Skip to Maloo!" he shouts. "Do-si-do and round about." He lifts reins, and the roan sighs and lifts feet. At easy warming-up amble, they drop over the edge of benchland, where the cabin snugs into tall pines, and on down the great bleak expanse of mountainside. Stubby Pringle, spurs a jingle, jogs upslope through crusted snow. The roan, warmed through, moves strong and steady under him. Line cabin and line work are far forgotten things, back and up the mighty massive mountain. He is Stubby Pringle, rooting, tooting, hard-working, hard-playing cowhand of the Triple X, heading for the Christmas dance at the schoolhouse in the valley. He tops out on one of the lower ridges. He pulls rein to give the roan a breather. He brushes an icicle off his nose. He leans forward and reaches to brush several more off sidebars of old bit in the bridle. He straightens tall. Far ahead, over top of last and lowest ridge, on into the valley, he can see tiny specks of glowing allure that are the schoolhouse windows. Light and gaiety and good liquor and fluttering skirts are there. "Wahoo!" he yells. "Gals and women and grandmothers," he shouts. "Raise your skirts and start a-skippin'. I'm comin'." He slaps spurs to run. It leaps like mountain lion, out and down, full into hard gallop down slope, rushing, reckless of crusted drifts and ice-coated brush branches slapping at them. He is Stubby Pringle, born with spurs on, nursed on tarantula juice, weaned on rawhide, at home in the saddle of a hurricane in the shape of a horse. That horse can race to outer edges of eternity and back, heading now for hijinks 2 months overdue. He is 10 feet tall, and the horse is gigantic, with wings, iron-boned and dynamite-fueled, soaring in 40-foot leaps down the flank of the whitened wonder of a winter world. They slow at the bottom. They stop. They look up the rise of the last low ridge ahead. The roan paws frozen ground and snorts twin plumes of frosty vapor. Stubby reaches around to pull down fleece-lined jacket that has worked a bit up and back. He pats right side saddlebag. He pats left side saddlebag. He lifts reins to soar up and over last low ridge. Hold it. Stubby, what is that? Off to the right. He listens. He has ears that can catch snitch of a mouse chewing on chunks of bacon rind beyond the log wall by his bunk. He hears sound of axe striking wood. What kind of bonging, ding, busted, dang, blatted fool would be chopping wood on a night like this and on Christmas Eve and with a dance underway at the schoolhouse in the valley? What kind of chopping is this anyway? Uneven in rhythm, feeble in stroke? Trust Stubby Pringle, who has chopped wood enough for cook stove and fireplace to fill a long freight train, to know how an axe should be handled. There, that does it. That whooping sound can only mean that the blade has hit at an angle and bounced away without biting. Some dong bong ding busted dang blatted fool is going to be cutting off some of his own toes. He pulls the roan around to the right. He is Stubby Pringle, born to tune of bawling bulls and blatting calves, branded at birth, cowman raised and cowman to the marrow, and no true cowman rides on without stopping to check anything strange on range. Roan chomps on bit, annoyed at interruption. It remembers who is in saddle. It sighs and obeys. They move quietly in dark of night, past bowls of trees, jet black against dim grayness of crusted snow on ground. Light shows faintly ahead, lantern light through small oiled paper windows. Yes, of course, just where it has been for 8 months now, the Henderson place. Man and woman and small girl and waist-high boy. Homesteaders. Not even fools. Homesteaders. Worse than that. Out of their minds altogether. All of them. Out here anyway. Betting the government they can stave off starving for 5 years in exchange for 160 acres of land. Land that just might be able to support 7 jackrabbits and 2 coyotes and 9 rattlesnakes and maybe all of 4 thin steers to a whole section. In a good year. Homesteaders. Always out of almost everything. Money and food and tools and smiles and joy of living. Everything. Except maybe hope and stubborn endurance. Stubby Pringle nudges the reluctant roan along. In patch light from the window by a tangled pile of dead tree branches, he sees a woman. Her face is gray and pinched and tired. An old stocking cap is pulled down on her head. Ragged man's jacket bumps over long woolsey dress and clogs arms as she tries to swing an axe into a good-sized branch on the ground. Whopping sound, and axe bounces and barely misses an ankle. "Quit that," says Stubby, sharp. He swings the roan in close. He looks down at her. She drops axe and backs away, frightened. She's ready to bolt into 2-room bark slab shack. But she looks up. She sees in what could be a grin. She sees that haphazard scrambled feature under low hat brim are crinkled in what could be a grin. She relaxes some, hand on door latch. "Ma'am," says Stubby, "you trying to cripple yourself?" She just stares at him. "Man's work," he says. "Where's your man?" "Inside," she says, then quick. "He's sick." "Bad," says Stubby. "Was," she said. "Doctor that was here this morning thinks he'll be all right now. Only he's almighty weak, all wobbly, sleeps most of the time." "Sleeps," says Stubby, indignant, "when there's wood to be chopped." "He's been almighty tired," she says, quick, defensive. "Even afore he was took sick. Wore out." She's rubbing cold hands together, trying to warm them. "He tried," she said, proud. "Only a while ago. Couldn't even get his pants on, just fell flat on the floor." Stubby looks down at her. "And you ain't tired?" he says. "I ain't got time to be tired," she says. "Not with all I got to do." Stubby Pringles looks off past dark bowls of trees at last round ridge top that hides valley and schoolhouse. I reckon I could spare a bit of time, he says. Likely they ain't much more than started yet. He looks again at the woman. He sees gray, pinched face. He sees cold, shivering under bumpy jacket. "Ma'am," he says, "get on in there and warm your gizzards some. I'll just chop you a bit of wood." Roan stands with dropped reins, ground tied, disgusted. It shakes head to send icicles tinkling from bit and bridle. Stopped in mist of epic run, wind-eating, mile-gobbling, iron-boned and dynamite-fueled. And for what? For silly chore of chopping. 15 feet away, Stubby Pringle chops wood. Moon is rising over last low ridgetop, and its light, filtered through trees, shines on leaping blade. He is Stubby Pringle, moonstruck maverick of the Triple X, born with axe in hand, with strength of stroke and muscles, weaned on whetstone, fed on cordwood, raised to fell whole forests. He is 10 feet tall and axe enormous in moonlight, and chips fly like storm flakes of snow, and blade slices through branches thick as his arm, through logs thick as his thighs. He leans axe against a stump, and he spreads arms wide, and he scoops up whole cords at a time, and strides to door and kicks it open. Both corners of front room by fireplace are piled full now, floor to ceiling. Good wood, stout wood, seasoned wood, wood enough for a whole wicked winter week. Chore done and done right. Stubby looks around. Fire is burning bright and well fed, working on warmth. Man lies on big old bed along opposite wall. Blanket over, eyes closed, face gray pale, snoring long and slow. Woman fusses with something on old wood stove. Stubby steps to doorway to back room. He pulls aside hanging cloth. Faint in dimness inside, he sees two low bunks, and in one, under an old quilt, a curly-headed small girl, and in the other, under other old quilt, a boy who would be waist-high awake and standing. He sees them in quiet, still and quiet, sleeping sound. Cute little devils, he says. He turns back, and the woman is coming toward him, cup of coffee in hand, strong and hot and steaming. Coffee, the kind to warm the throat and gizzard of chore-doing, hard-chopping cowhand on a cold, cold night. He takes the cup and raises it to his lips, drains it in 2 gulps. "Thank you, ma'am," says. "That was right kindly of you." He sets cup on table. "I got to be getting along," he says. He starts towards outer door. He stops, hand on door latch. Something is missing in two-room shack. Trust Stubby Pringle to know what. "Where's your tree?" he says. "Kid's got to have a Christmas tree." He sees the woman sink down on chair. He hears a sigh come from her. "I ain't had time to cut one," she said. "I reckon not," says Stubby. "Man's job anyway," he says. "I'll get it for you. Won't take a minute. Then I got to be going." He strides out, scoops up axe and strides off, upslope some, where small pines climb. He stretches tall and his legs lengthen, and he towers huge among trees, swinging with 10-foot steps. He is Stubby Pringle, born an expert on Christmas trees, nursed on pine needles, weaned on pine cones, raised with an eye for size and shape and symmetry. There, a beauty, perfect, grown for this and for nothing else. Axe blade slices clean and swift. Tree topples. He strides back with tree on shoulder. He rips leather wangs from his saddle and lashes 2 pieces of wood to tree bottom, crosswise, so tree can stand upright again. Stubby Pringle strides into shack carrying tree. He sets it up, center of front room floor, and it stands straight, trim and straight, perky and proud and pointed. "There you are, ma'am," it says. "Get your things out and start decorating. I got to be going." He moves towards the door. He stops in the outer doorway. He hears the sigh behind him. "We got no things," she says. "I was figuring to buy some, but sickness took the money." Stubby Pringle looks off at last low ridge top, hiding valley and schoolhouse. Reckon I still got a bit of time, he says. They'll be whooping it mighty late. He turns back, closing door. He sheds hat and gloves and bandana and jacket. He moves about, checking everything in the sparse front room. He asks for things, and the woman jumps to get those few of them she has. He tells her what to do, and she does. He does plenty himself. With this and with that, magic wonders arrive. He is Stubby Pringle, born to poverty and hard work, weaned on nothing, fed on less, raised to make do with the least possible and make the most of that. Pinto beans strung on thread brighten tree and firelight and lantern light like strings of store-bought beads. Strips of one bandana, cut with shears from sewing box, bob in bows on branch ends, like gay red flowers. Snippets of fleece from jacket lining, sprinkled over tree, glisten like fresh falls of snow. Miracles flow from strong, blunt fingers through bits of old paper bags and dabs of flour paste into link chains and twisted small streamers and 2 jaunty little hats and 2 smart little boats with sails. Got to finish it right, says Stubby Pringle. From strong, blunt fingers comes 5-pointed star, triple thickness to make it stiff, twisted bit of old wire to hold it upright. He fastens this to the topmost tip of the topmost bough. He wraps lone bandana left around throat and jams battered hat on head and shrugs into now skimpy lined jacket. A right nice little tree, he says. All you got to do now is get out what you got for the kids and put it under. I really got to be going. He starts towards outer door. He stops in open doorway. He hears the sigh behind him. He knows without looking around the woman has slumped into old rocking chair. We ain't got anything for them, she says. Only now this tree, which I don't mean isn't a fine, grand tree. It's more'n we'd have had, except for you. Stubby Pringle stands in open doorway, looking out into cold, clean, moonlit night. Somehow he knows, without turning head, 2 tears are sliding down thin, pinched cheeks. You go on along, she says. They're good young'uns. They know how it is. They ain't expecting a thing. Stubby Pringle stands in open doorway, looking out at last ridgetop that hides valley and schoolhouse. All the more reason, he says soft to himself. All the more reason something should be there when they wake. He sighs too. I'm a dong-bonging, ding-busted dang. Right cute dress for the girl. Needle and threader like you can whip it up in no time. I'll just whittle me out a little something for the boy. Moon is high in the cold, cold sky. Frosty clouds drip up there with it. Tiny flakes of snow float through upper air. Down below, by a 2-room shack, droops a disgusted cow pony roan, ground-tied, drooping like statue, snow-crusted. It is accepting the inescapable destiny of its kind, which is to wait for its rider, to conserve deep-bottomed dynamite energy, to be ready to race to the last margin of motion when waiting is done. Inside the shack, fire and fireplace cheerily gobbles wood, good wood, stout wood, seasoned wood, warming 2 rooms well. Man lies on bed, turned on side, curled up some, snoring, slow and steady. Woman sits in rocking chair, sewing. Her head nods slow and drowsy, and her eyelids sad, weary, but her fingers fly, stitch, stitch, stitch. A dress is shaped under her hands, small and flounced and with little puff sleeves. Fine dress, fancy dress, dress for smiles and joy of living. She is sewing pink ribbon around collar and down front and into fluffy bow on back. On a stool nearby sits Stubby Pringle, piece of good wood in one hand, knife in the other. Fine knife, splendid knife, all around accomplished knife. Knife he always has with him. 7-bladed knife, with 4 for cutting from little to big, and corkscrew and can opener and screwdriver. Big cutting blade has done its work. Little cutting blade is in use now. He is Stubby Pringle, born with feel for knife in hand, weaned on emery wheel, fed on shavings, raised to whittle his way through the world. Tiny chips fly and shavings flutter. There in his hands, out of good pine wood, something is shaping. A horse. Yep. Flop-eared, ewe-necked, cat-hipped horse. Flop-eared head is high on ewe-neck, stretched out, sniffing wind, snorting into distance. Cat hips are hunched forward, caught in crouch for forward leap. It is a horse fit to carry a waist-high boy to uttermost edge of eternity and back. Stubby Pringle carves swift and sure. Little cutting blade makes final little cutting snitches. Yes. Tiny mottlings and markings make no mistaking. It's a strawberry roan. He closes knife and puts it in pocket. He looks up. Dress is finished in woman's lap. But woman's head has dropped down in exhaustion. She sits slumped deep in rocking chair, and she too snores slow and steady. Stubby Pringle stands up. He takes dress and puts it under tree. Fine dress, fancy dress. Dress waiting now for small girl to wake and wear it with smiles and joy of living. He sets wooden horse beside it. Fine horse, proud horse, snorting into distance horse. Cat hips crouched, waiting now for waist-high boy to wake and ride it around the world. Quietly, he piles wood on fire and banks ashes around it to hold for morning. Quietly, he pulls on hat and wraps bandana around and shrugs into skimpy-lined jacket. He looks at old rocking chair and tired woman slumped in it. He strides out to outer door and out and leaving door open. He strides back, closing door with heel behind. He carries other burlap bag wrapped around box of candy. Fine chocolates, fancy chocolates, variegated interiors. Gently he lays this in the lap of woman. Gently he takes big old shawl from wall nail and lays this over her. He stands by big old bed and looks down at snoring man. Poor devil, he says. Ain't fair to forget him. He takes knife from pocket, fine knife, 7-bladed knife, and lays this on blanket on bed. He picks up gloves and blows out lantern, and swift as sliding moon shadow, he is gone. High, high up, frosty clouds scuttle across face of moon. Wind whips through topmost tips of tall pines. What is that hurtles like hurricane, far down there on upslope of last low ridge, scattering drifts, smashing through brush, snorting defiance at distance? It is flop-eared, ewe-necked, cat-hipped roan, iron-boned and dynamite-fueled, ramming full gallop through the dark of night. Firm in saddle is Stubby Pringle, spurs a jingle, toes a tingle, out on prowl, ready to howl, heading for the dance at the schoolhouse in the valley. He is 10 feet tall, great as a grizzly, and the roan is gigantic, with wings, soaring upward in 30-foot leaps. They top out, and roan rears high, pawing stars out of sky, and drops down, cat hips hunched, for fresh leap out and down. Hold it, Stubby. Hold hard on reins. Do you see what's happening out there in the valley? Tiny lights that are schoolhouse windows are winking out. Tiny dark shapes moving about are horsemen riding off and wagons pulling away. Moon is dropping down the sky, haloed in frosty mist. Dark gray clouds dip and swoop around sweep of horizon. Cold winds weave, rustling through ice-coated brushes and trees. What is that moving slow and lonesome up snow-covered mountainside? It is a flop-eared, ewe-necked, cat-hipped roan. Just that, nothing more. Small cow pony, worn and weary, taking its rider back to clammy bunk and cold lined cabin. Slumped in saddle is Stubby Pringle, head down, shoulders sagging. He's just another of far scattered, poorly paid, patched-clothed cowhands who inhabit these parts. Just that. And something more. He is the biggest thing there is in the whole wide roster of the human race. He is a man who has given of himself, of what little he has and is, to bring smiles and joy of living to others along his way. He jogs along, slump-sagged in saddle, thinking of none of this. He's thinking of dances undanced, of floorboards unstomped, of willing women left unwhirled. He jogs along, half asleep in saddle, and he's thinking now of bygone Christmas seasons and of a boy born to poverty and hard work and make-do pouring and flickering of firelight over ragged old Christmas picture book. Suddenly he hears something. The tinkling of sleigh bells. Sleigh bells? Yes, I am telling this straight. He and Roan are weaving through thick clumped brush. Winds are sighing high overhead, and on up top the mountainside and low down here, they're whipping up mists and snow flurries all around him. He can see nothing in mystic moving dimness, but he can hear the tinkle of sleigh bells, faint but clear, ghostly but unmistakable. And suddenly he sees something, movement off to the left. Swift as wind, glimmers only through brush and mist and whirling snow, but unmistakable again. Antlered heads high, frosty breaths streaming, bodies rushing swift and silent, floating in flash of movement past, seeming to leap in air alone, needing no touch of ground beneath. Reindeer? Yep, reindeer. Strong and silent and fleet, out of some far frozen northland marked on no map. Reindeer swooping down and leaping past and rising again and away, strong and effortless and fleeting. And with them, hard on their heels, almost lost in swirling snow mist of their passing, vague and formless but there. Something big and bulky with runners like a sleigh, and flash of white beard whipping in wind, and crack of long whips snapping. Startled Roan has seen something too. It stands rigid, head up, staring left and forward. Stubby Pringle, body a tingle, stares too. Out of the dark at night, mingled with moan of wind, comes a long-drawn chuckle, deep, deep chuckle, jolly and cheery and full of smiles and joy of living. And with it, long-drawn words. Well done, partner. Stubby Pringle shakes his head. He brushes an icicle from his nose. And I didn't have a single drink, he says. Only coffee, and can't count that. Reckon I'm getting soft in the head. But he is cowman through and through, cowman through to the marrow. He can't ride on without stopping to check anything strange on his range. He swings down and leads off to the left. He fumbles in jacket pocket and finds a match, strikes it, holds it cupped and bends down. There they are, unmistakable, reindeer tracks. Stubby Pringle stretches up tall. Stubby Pringle swings into saddle. Roan needs no slap of spur to unleash strength in upward surge, up, up, steep mountainside. It knows. There in saddle once more is Stubby Pringle, moon-struck maverick of the Triple X, all-around hard-proved, hard-honed cowhand, 10 feet tall, needing horse gigantic with wings, iron-boned and dynamite-fueled, to take him home to the little line cabin and some few winks of sleep before another day's hard work. Stubby Pringle slips into cold, clammy bunk. He wriggles vigorously to warm bunk under and blanket over. Was it worth all that riding? Comes the voice of old Jake Hanlon from other bunk on other wall. Why, sure, says Stubby. I had me a right good time. All right now, say anything you want. I know, you know, any dong-bong, ding-busted, dang-blatted fool ought to know that icicles breaking off branches can sound to drowsy ears something like sleigh bells. That blurry eyes, half asleep, can see strange things. That deer and elk make tracks just like those of reindeer. That wind sighing and soughing and moaning and maundering down mountains and through piney treetops can sound like someone shaping words. But we could talk and talk and it would mean nothing to Stubby Pringle. Stubby is wiser than we are. He knows. He will always know who it was, plump and jolly and belly-bouncing, that spoke to him that night out on wind-whipped, winter-worn mountainside. Well Well done, partner. All right, and that's the story of Stubby Pringle. Thank you all. Have a happy holiday. Bye-bye.